thanks for tuning in. It is that time. It's time for another week in review. And I am up to 359 subscribers now on my channel. Really close to hitting 360. It would be nice to hit 400, but I'm wondering how long it's going to take me to reach that. I do appreciate all of you that have subscribed. I'm seeing that there are subscribers from Thailand, which is pretty cool. I'm seeing subscribers from India, and of course from America, Canada, and Germany. I wish you guys would comment and let me know where you're from. That would be pretty cool, and I would love to talk with you guys about comics. I'm assuming that most of you have found my YouTube channel because of my blog. I have kind of noticed that I've been getting a lot of traffic to my blog because of the books I'm reading. You don't know how much I appreciate that, being someone who feels like the black sheep of BookTube because I read comics. So I give you guys props. I really appreciate you being subscribed to my channel. Enough ranting. I wanted to give you guys, my new subscribers, a shout out just to tell you how much I appreciate it. The first book that I have read for the week is Batman Arkham the Riddler. And I have to say, I used to really enjoy the Riddler. I mean, I've read some Batman books, but I'm not like a super DC fan. I've read a lot of Marvel. I think I've read more Marvel books than I have DC. And I never really thought about how corny the Riddler is until I read the Riddler's origin story. And I guess the Riddler, he always loved puzzles, and even though his name is Edward Enigma, he got his start by solving puzzles and riddles, and he decided that he loved puzzles and riddles so much that he made a career crime of it, which is just, it's over-the-top corny. It's so campy. But then again, those classic Golden Age Batman books were pretty campy, weren't they? So I have to admit that I really just didn't enjoy this book that much. It wasn't until I got to the last quarter of this, when we get to the more contemporary Riddler, that I thought that this was, it was good. So I have to admit, I only rated this 3 out of 5 stars. I mean, I liked how the Riddler kind of turned away from crime and he decided to become a detective. I thought that makes more sense than the Riddler as this guy who likes to rob art museums and steal artifacts and stuff. That was just, I don't know, that just doesn't make that much sense, that a guy loves solving riddles and playing with riddles and word games and stuff would want to become a criminal. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But, it is what it is. Up next we have Star Wars Lando, and I think this is Volume 1. I don't think it's a Volume 0 or anything. If you're not familiar with who Lando Calrissian is, he made his first appearance in The Empire Strikes Back. Of course, he is an anti-hero type character, very similar to Han Solo. And that was, whoever wrote this, it's Sewell. So, how Sewell wrote this, it was very much like the cinematic Lando Calrissian. Very much that dastardly kind of dude that you don't know if you could 100% trust him, because he seems to be out for himself and those very close to him. And I think even those very close to him don't know whether they can trust him 100%. So he is on this mission to steal this ship because it's full of loot, basically, and he wants to settle a debt he has with this other guy. So, with that all being said, I won't say too much more because I don't want to spoil it, but this was really, really enjoyable. I think that Sewell did a very good job of writing this character and made it feel like it was the real Lando from the film. So yeah, I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. It's worth picking up if you have not read it yet. After that, I read Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Volume 4. These were more or less just short stories. There were a few where Bruce Wayne is a young Bruce Wayne before he's Batman and how he's learning to become Batman. There were a few short stories. One of them was a Riddler story that was in that book that I shared at the beginning of this video. I mean, this was just okay. Some were okay, some were lame. It was what it is. There was one that I really enjoyed that was about Clayface, and there was a twist on it. I don't want to say what happened with it, but it was really good. So I only rated this one 3 out of 5 stars. It could have been much better. And I think I have one more of these to read. I don't think I'm going to pursue these outside of the 2 I got. Up next we have The Amazing Spider-Man, The Gauntlet, Volume 4. This one features the Juggernaut. Being an X-Man fan, I was excited to read this because, hey, it's the Juggernaut. But try to carefully word this so I don't spoil it for you guys, but it is not a smackdown with Spider-Man versus the Juggernaut. It's like a team-up book. So that was kind of a disappointment. It features another hero, one that I'm not too familiar with, and I'm not going to say any more in case you guys want to read this. But I really just thought this was a 3-star book. It does feature some older Spidey versus Juggernaut stories in the back. They were just okay ones. They could have picked some better ones, but you know, it is what it is. Up next we have Deadpool's Secret Wars. For those who are not familiar with the original Secret Wars, Deadpool was kind of not created in the 80s. He came like in the late 80s or the early 90s. So, and of course, if you are a fan of Deadpool, you should know by now that this is a parody. It's an imaginative telling of Deadpool imagining that he was there at Secret Wars, and everybody had forgotten that he was there, supposedly. So, with this being a parody and the main part of the book, the titled part of the book, I did think this was a 4 out of 5 star book. Of course, there was a lot of filler in the back. There was a contest of champions telling with Deadpool starring in that. And, of course, the original Secret Wars story that they were parodying. So, yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of Deadpool, I would definitely check this out. Up next, we have Spider-Man India. I recall this guy from the Spider-Verse books, and I kind of wanted to read this because I remembered that character being in the Spider-Verse, and I wanted to learn more about him. So, I think that a lot of other people kind of felt the same way I did. I mean, I saw the ratings for this, and I saw there were a lot of 2-star ratings, and I wanted to give it a chance. But I just find it so hard to to believe in a character that, you know, takes place in a different country. I'm so used to the traditional Peter Parker that I just really couldn't get into his. And, like, the way he got his powers was from a yogi or some kind of, like, wise man, and the fact that the Dr. Octopus and the Green Goblin, I mean, I thought the Green Goblin looked cool, but I just thought the whole story behind him was kind of lame. Sorry if you are from India and you enjoyed this. I just couldn't get into it. I thought this was a 2 out of 5 star book. If you are from India, tell me why you thought this was a great book. I'd like to hear your opinion on it. I just couldn't get into it. After that, I read Spider-Man with Great Power. Now, this takes place just after Peter gets his powers and just before his Uncle Ben is killed. So I thought this was, it was decent, you know? I mean, it was interesting to see how he was kind of like a hero for hire kind of thing, like he was a wrestling star, and he didn't really want to help people at first. So I thought that was kind of neat. I did rate this one 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It's just okay. After that, I read Spider-Man Breakout. This has to do with the UFOs, I think they're called. I can't really. I think they're called the U-Men or UFOs or something like that. This really doesn't even have Spider-Man in it too much. It just mainly goes around the UFOs, Breakout, and some other villains. So, I mean, this one was really just not that great. I think I only rated this one 2 out of 5 stars, too. It could have been much better, and I won't say much more about it because it really wasn't that good. Okay, so I think this is where I'm going to end my week in review. First up, we have Spider-Man Identity Crisis. This takes place in a time period when Spider-Man was accused of having killed somebody. There was a bounty on his head, and he just didn't feel safe appearing in public as Spider-Man, so he created these alternate identities, these other heroes he could be. One was the Hornet, one was Prodigy, Ricochet, and then Dusk. So, I kind of remember seeing this, like, I think I remember reading these issues, like, a long time ago, so this is kind of like a reread for me. But this was just okay. I did rate this one 3 out of 5 stars. The problem I had with this was, there wasn't really too much explanation for why he kept bouncing around and changing the different costumes. I thought that was kind of weird, and it didn't make sense in the story. After that, we had Spider-Man The Other Evolve or Die. Before the Spider-Verse, there was The Other. And I want to be careful what I say about this book because I really don't want to spoil it. This was very, very good. It was very enjoyable. I did rate this one 4 out of 5 stars. And all I'm going to say is it's death, rebirth, and, of course, change. This does feature Morlun, who is, one of the guys who's out to kill the spider entities in all the different dimensions. So, I thought this was really cool, and you see Peter Parker's Spider-Man in a different way. This was really, really worth the read. If you're a fan of the Spider-Verse, then you should probably read this if you have not already. Really good book. After that, I read this reboot, which I didn't even know this. I guess this came out in 2011, 2012. I don't even remember these books. Spider-Man Season 1. And like I said, it's just a reboot of the origin of Spider-Man, so it's kind of a modern day telling. I mean, there's so many of these reboots for Spider-Man. I'd have to say the best part of this book was the end, and it was Spider-Man and his Avenging Friends or something like that. I forgot what it was called, but that was like the best part of it. This is another book that was like 3 out of 5 stars. And the final book is Superman, Batman, Sorcerer, Kings. This one takes place multiple dimensions, multiple timelines. It's got magic and a little bit of science and time travel stuff. So, some of this I had already read in a different collection of Batman, Superman. And then, of course, the other 3/4 of this was new to me, and it was like, some time-hopping villain named Epoch I've never heard of before. But it was an enjoyable story. And then there was a story about, sorcerers, which was just okay. So, I decided to rate this 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. So that is my latest week in review. If you are a new subscriber, thank you yet again for subscribing to my channel. If you've read any of these, let me know what you thought of them when you read them, or if you intend on reading any of these, let me know that too. Thank you for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and thank you for watching. Till next time, later, guys.